And there it is. I guess the game should be starting pretty soon. Welcome back, everyone. It is the 5E Arena Open Season 2. This is map number 2 of Darkside versus Solo Guild. And, how are you feeling about this after all that we've discussed during the break, Gobbles? Again, we are your casters. Hey, I'm Quack, and alongside with me is the CSGO mastermind, Gobbles.
Bit of high praise, but oh, I hope to refute. Yeah, I think both these teams, after what we discussed, well, a little bit hopeful for SGD, but it's certainly gonna be up against it since they're gonna start on T side as well, right? So I guess this is where you get to run a lot of your game plans. If you have any sort of set executes, you can show your hand because you do have a full 15 rounds to do so. Yeah, so just sorting the sides out, it will be Darkside to start on the CT side. And this kind of means that we saw it back on Nuke as well, right? They were very proactive, right? Weren't just happy to sit behind and let their opponents take the initiative on them. Instead, they're the ones trying to beat their opponents to the punch, right? Anastasis aggressive outside, and he's got his teammates in support. I think there was Rusink in mini. There was one round, but they're just farming a couple of eco frags, right? And so on Inferno, it's not as doable, right? You're not going to run down mid. Maybe you touch down Banana, but certainly not into his middle at this level. Maybe if they are confident enough, though, we could still see it out of them. But for now, first pistol of the second map will get underway. Darkside, a map to the good against SGD, who will be looking to make a statement here on Inferno.
Let's see what that statement shall be exactly. Spade already pushed up in towards the boiler room. I believe you can hear quite a number of footsteps unless they are walking, but here we go. Already starting out the bloodbath. It's going to be SGD with 3 quick frags on the board. Now, Anastasis, though, he is in the corner, and they don't quite check him. He finds one immediately traded by Insane. So far, so good. They have control over the B side. Camel all the way on the back of A. He has to make his way over, but we have Ghost, who is lurking, doesn't spot the guy out, though. So either this sets up a big flank, or he's going to be a bit slow to the party.
Yeah, I think he's heard the footsteps, too, which is why I think they're just holding. You can see where the two players are, right? Suraj and Insane, they're just holding CT. So you've got Suraj taking the first fight, you've got a second player on site, and then you've got the flank from Ghost. So a very good round for SGD. I really, really like what we saw. Right, because if you take a look at the recap, right, there was a smoke deployed in towards Arch. Oh, okay, nice shot from Camo. But it's pronounced as Camo.
I guess it's saving? Yeah, apparently, yeah. So it is pronounced as Camo. But I guess he is saving a USP for some reason, so a little bit odd. But yeah, go on with your previous point.
I was about to say, right, nice smoke towards Arch for SGD along with the smoke towards Long. So if a CT, you would think that's going to be a full-on A commitment, right? Because you're trying to isolate the players on site, and with the Glocks, you play narrow angles, they should tend to favor you. But instead what SGD decided to do is they divert the path into a CT, right? So Darkside, they're completely caught unaware, and they managed to outnumber the players that were in CT and were able to at least commence the B split afterwards. So this is a surefire sign that at least SGD, they have done their homework, they have done their due diligence, and they have a game plan in mind. Darkside, though, with the force buy, always so potent. In fact, they did win the CT force buy back on Nuke, right? So, yeah.
See, I said this earlier on. I'm pretty sure SGD has pistol rounds in the bag. They are good at that. They have the plans. And, the way they go really fast and furious, just clocks in, guns blazing, pew, 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 everyone's dead. That works out. But now there's a bit of stopping power. We have Deagles, we have DS, Anastasis with the Scout, and he has proven to be quite potent with that weapon. So SGD going to slow things down a little bit. If they don't check Spade, that's going to be one frag. Immediate trade, thankfully, by Ghost. And hopefully they'll find some footing somewhere around here. The bomb, however, still towards the back of T spawn, and I guess they're going to go back to retrieve it and then head towards B. After, there was a bit of a firefight, maybe a couple of rotates towards A. But, well, let's take a look at the minimap. Answer, no. 3 people on the B site now.
It was way too obvious for Darkside, right? A player was able to get in front of the smoke at Arch, so he called the information, and so now you have the numbers at the right spaces, but SGD, they have the weapons advantage as well as forward positioning on site. bomb's gonna get planted, and if you're DS, maybe just go for the save, right? You know you probably have to go for the eco in the next round, and SGD, they're feeling a bit hungry, and you wouldn't want to be feeding them a can of Kitsy. Goes Camo. No, just the MP9 able to line up 2. Last 2 remaining players are a little bit low, but he is so as well. Wow!
Oh!
No way.
What a pre-aimed headshot.
No way, no way. Camo,
Oh!
wow!
What? Alright. Have a good game, Gobbles. I'll see you after.
I think
Are you kidding me?
I think we should see ourselves out after that one.
Oh,
SGD. Now that's unforgivable. Surely that's
right?
unforgivable. There's no. No.
I'm okay. You're in a 1v1. You have the bomb down. Why hold the angle so, I guess, linearly? Or like right in front of your face? Why not hold an off angle? I guess perhaps he was stuck, but that is just a position that you should not be in. Especially in a situation like that. I wish we had a replay function because that was just... my god, Camo.
Yeah,
and now they have the money.
Gotten there in the first place, right? And now, yeah, as you rightly pointed out, they're gonna start building a little bit of bank for themselves now. SGD. It shouldn't even have come down to a 1-on-1. There was a 1-on-4 for Camo. There was no way he was supposed to be allowed to win that, right? SGD, they give him 4 pretty much 1-on-1 duels. Maybe the first 2 players they were lined up, right? But the last 2 players, question is why peak? And well, that's the question that we'll never have the answer to.
Yeah.
Although DS still giving this a bit of a crack.
Oh. Okay. Well, they have the firepower, and I think that's the thing they got going for them. And this time around, running out of time, but they have the kit. He's going to stick it. Ooh, there we go. This is the SGD that we want to see. This is the post-plant that they should be playing.
So, oh dear. SGD able to break back in, at least. So, yeah, a bit of pressure relieved, but I don't think they will be feeling too comfortable unless they get about 5-6 rounds on the board early on, right? That round I think is gonna be sticking at the back of my head, right? Every single time it goes onto your clutch scenario, you're gonna be that much more afraid and that much more careful. But for now, they are able to find frags that are required of them. Last round, it has to be said, good credit where it's due. SGD. Good take of banana fast, and seems as though this is what they are hoping to exploit, at least at the moment. Sandman able to pick the player off at the outer extremity as well. That would be Spade 2k to 4 goals. Needs to be a bit careful. Player peeking in the car position, but Addict, I mean, doesn't matter too much in the grand scheme of things. DS though, they did force back in, so if they lose this next round, they're only working with what 1900 loss bonus, and then in the next is 2400. So if you add them up, 4.3k, that's not a really good CT buy as well. So I'm really curious to see what they decide to do.
I'm gonna guess and say it's gonna be a full save. At least that's what I would do. I mean, with about 1900 or at least 2000, you really don't have much. Maybe a bit of utility, but then, I mean, can utility really swing the round in your favor when you only have USPs? So, yeah, full save for them. This is probably going to be a 4-1 for SGD now. And this is good. This is what we want to see. I mean, this is their map after all, but okay. Darkside pulling off something. How would you describe this, Gobbles? Look at all those lasers pointing down. That one.
At least with my friends, we call that the good old Astralis stack, right? But they're not going to yield anything. You're not going to be able to find anything at the back of it. And now Ghost will just swing a couple of eco frags, but well, 2 players do fall. I reckon they saved the Galil's over, not the favorite weapon for a lot of players, but that's going to allow them to get a full set of utility, right? And for the banana players, I think that's going to be massive. Right, if you never have enough utility, you're never going to be able to quite find your footing on the B side, be it down banana or be it on side itself. So, yeah.
I'm just impressed that Darkside even has a plan like that, and they actually, maybe they don't win the round, of course, but they managed to take 2 players down, and they pick up 2 Galils to go along with it, and SGD senses danger. I think they're still a little bit hesitant about taking fights head on against Darkside. I mean, how can they? Darkside, just all they need is USPs, the Astralis stack. Let's go together. And they pick up Galil's for free. And now their team is buying up. There we go. This could be the round where Darkside turns things over.
No AWP though for Anastasis. I mean, he's proven himself to be a capable rifler as well. And in fact, he is one of the B players on the side of Darkside. Just him as well as Racing. But you can see, they're not going to contest Banana. In part due to a lack of utility, but I guess also perhaps, you know, afraid of how fast SGD have been playing so far. Right, I think he's gonna get flashed in. Good flash for Racing, and Braille will fall first. That's Kitsy Ghost to hit the deck. And Suraj unable to trade his teammate. 5-on-4 advantage established very early on for Darkside. A counter to that fast Banana aggression, right? Just one pop flash, go, get a kill, fall back, and now you've got a man advantage. Although SGD, if they do hit B still, it is a 4-on-2.
Well, yeah. 4-on-2. It's still possible that SGD gains control over the B site, but the smokes go in and they just keep walking through it anyway. And into the crosshairs of Anastasis, Sandman will go, and he gets another. Gonna try to get the third, but not quite able to get finish it off. Insane down to 4 points of health, and it's going to be a tough fight ahead of Ghost. The bomb has been dropped, and he can't even get it down. Every single player from Darkside are already right here, right in front of him. He's gonna have to B-hop away. But does he know that someone's coming in from behind? He misses the second shot. They try to knife him. Darkside, not even giving him the respect he deserves. They finally put the nail in the coffin, and they take away round number 6. 2 wins on the board for Darkside.
A bit of a weird call, I suppose, right? SGD, when they did hit the B side, I think, you know, as a player, this is when you have to be a little bit sharp, right? Because what we saw there was SGD, they tried to take the side, right? But they were so cautious of the potential for a player within the B side itself. But if we notice, before that, there was a smoke being deployed from the CTs from CT itself, as well as from coffins. So if you see those two smokes, that's already a very clear indicator that the two B players were playing retake. And so there was no need to kind of spend that much time clearing out the site. I mean, yes, you're being methodical, but now they're not so methodical, and they're just gonna feed the beast in camo.
Yeah, they gotta stop pushing these smokes like that. It's just, they're begging to be punished by Darkside. Still though, Ghost will find some form of revenge for his fallen teammates, but Spade pushes in. He is aided by the flash from his team. That's the difference there. Now Kitsy goes the last guy alive. 1v4, what do? Can't even get the headshot, and Racing just takes you down. 3-4. And SGD, you're seeing these mistakes again.
Perfect round from Camo, right? Just holding the smoke because you know that your opponents, when they walk up, they will be grey screen. But at the same time, SGD, right? The big question, why? Right? You know, there are times where you can afford to be, I guess, less, you know, procedural with your clearing, but there's some things that you don't really want to do, right? Especially since they didn't really have much information, right? Maybe if they saw a play in pit, then that would tempt them to just run out the apartments, but yeah, very weird call. But now it's just the P250s trying to gun down Addict in Arch, stays and fights and gets the mow down with the AK, and Camo again to switch things up. Addict, nice round to pad the stats. I guess with Incendiary, he was always going to have the advantage, right? SGD, you're forced into having to make a tough decision. At least they all make it together as a team, right? All 4 players jumping through, but yeah, safe from Addict and safe pair of hands.
That's the difference that we're seeing right now, and already Darkside equalized the board, 4-4. It's just, I mean, what else were you expecting? You hear the footsteps, you're just going to make this incredible, easily readable rush. It's going to be easy frags for the side of Darkside. Now that they have a full buy, hopefully things are going to be a little bit different. Minute 30-second left on the clock. It's still fairly early days, and they are not quite trading out a lot of information yet. I mean, there's a bit of presence. They're, again, pushing up towards, going to jiggle, jump peek a little. No one has given anything up on the side of Darkside, though, which is just a little bit paranoid. It makes me paranoid at the very least, but Ghost able to trade things off, and now they start to find some frags, but Addict is still there to support his team. 3v2, and they get the bomb down.
So back and forth we go
Oh.
now. Stabilizes in a 2-on-2. Goes tech down pretty low. He does still have a smoke as well as a Molotov. Incendiary might just flush him out. Yeah, he's gonna have to play very close. I think they might have heard the tick. Molotov dropped just before the player pushes, but oh, he gets executions by the grenade and Ghost will fall. Now it's Sandman in a 1-on-2. Op and AK. He does have positioning. He does have the advantage of the smoke. Oh, but DS with one of their own will be able to secure the defuse. Unfortunate. Sandman full white, and he's gonna fall as well after the end.
That's not the first time that we've seen Darkside pull off diffuses inside of smokes, right? Like we saw it happen on Nuke, and now it's happening again. It's just, it's this. I mean, I'm running out of words to describe it, but SGD, this is not how you want to be playing the game. Oh no, still a good effort nonetheless. I want to believe. But, I mean, if we just take a look at how Darkside has been playing the game so far, they put themselves up in positions that give them ample time to read and, I guess, receive information from SGD. Meanwhile, SGD, on the other hand, they kind of go in a little bit blind. I mean, just take a look. They just push in towards Arches, and it's going to be an easy frag for Spade already. And now they know, okay, there's a chance it's going to be an A hit. Let's position ourselves for that. They push in, he gets more, they make it a trade. And of course, who wins on top of it? It's Darkside, because they got the first one. 3v2 now. And Siraj has to make the bomb plant. His teammate is over by, I guess, Mini Pit, and he's there to support him. But 2v3, unless they have the perfect, I guess, angles being held or set up, and they make the sprays count, it's going to be a difficult retake for SGD. I mean, retake defense. Oh my god. And I just say it, it's going to be Rasing. He has support from his teammate. One goes towards the bomb, the other guy goes towards Graveyard. He gets the angle, he gets the shot. 6-4 for Darkside on this first CT half. It's not over yet, but it's not looking too good, if I'm being honest, for SGD.
Just thought for a second if we were stuck in a bit of a time loop. I think round number 10 felt very much like round number 9, right? SGD, rep Arch, get the A side, get the bomb down, in a disadvantageous position 2-on-3. You've got a player stuck on site, a similar bomb plant spot, and it's again Sandman having to clutch it out and unable to do so. I think that happened for 2 rounds in a row. Well, at least SGD, they've identified a weakness. That is going to be Arch, right? So they've consistently been able to get that position. But what do you do off the back of it, right? Smoke for library, and so going for the A-rep once again. Do DS have a more convincing answer this time? Well, seems like the answer is not quite yet. Because SGD, this time, they are the ones with demand advantage.
I like that. That's good. It worked this time around, and I guess maybe it was off the back of couple of sprays, the full AKs, and now it's down to a 2v3. The bomb has been planted. Rasing and Anastasis. One from Arch, one from towards, I guess, House. They have to make it doable for themselves, and they're going to use the utility to support them. Of course, we have seen how incredible Anastasis can be with the 5-7, is able to take down one. Now it's all up to Rasing. The flames dissipate. He pushes up. He's looking for it. Going to use the smoke to maybe tap the bomb a little bit.
No.
And here he goes. He's going to stick it. Are you going to make it happen? No! Sandman just sands you down. Of course, rough, a little bit 1000 grit perhaps. He makes it better for SGD. This is, I mean, what do you think of the strat that they just pulled off?
Well, if you try and you don't succeed, try again, right? SGD, third time lucky for them. It's the same exact thing, right? Sandman having to clutch it out. The third time he's had a crack at it, and finally he's able to bring them across the line. DS trying to switch up the pace just a little bit. 4 towards A to start off the round because they've got Anastasis alone with the op on B. Catching a player, just walking out like that. Look, I don't get why they're doing that at all, right? You've got demand advantage. Your opponent's found the opening pick. What's the point? What's the value when, especially when you have a full belt of utility on your side? What's the value in just walking out like that? Especially since you've not heard anything on B. That's the biggest telltale sign that normally there should be an opper holding the line, or at least something's being prepared.
That's what we're talking about. It's a bit of these mistakes. get around. They get an opening pick, and I don't know if it's the adrenaline or some kind of a surge inside their veins. They just can't sit still, and then they push up, and they immediately get punished, and all of a sudden we're back to a 4v4. It's an even playground now. I mean, both sides, they got 3 rifles, 1 op. They are trying to make another play out of apps, but I guess Darkside are already ready for this. You see? They jump out of the smoke. They have the positions. SGD are not being careful about how they're clearing the site at all. They get a little bit of information now, but they can't quite connect the shots as well. It's going to be Ghost who falls next, and now Sandman caught in 1v3. Back towards the side of Pit. Can't quite find anything. It's not an easy push for them at all. And I mean, it's not good. 7-5.
It has to be said, Camo has had an incredible series so far. If you dial it back to map number 1 on Nuke, right, he was the player leading the charge, and here once again, right, it's a bit reminiscent of, I would say, someone like Moxie from Huanzai, right? You can see the decisions that he makes are always good. And now Anastasis once again farming a couple of eco frags with Rusting in support, going back for the repick, misses a bit, but okay, at least this is a little bit more palatable, a little bit more doable. The bomb's still stuck behind, so SGD, you still have to reclaim it, and Sandman's burning alive! 14 health and 4, and the bomb's dropped out in the open.
Remember that happened to me yesterday? We were playing 5e. Okay, unlike me, he did not burn, but still down to 14 points of health. 14-4, and the bomb has been dropped, like you mentioned. How do they make this doable for themselves, SGD?
I don't think it's the right solution, right? You have to have a bit of lucky timing on the side, right? Get the heads up duel, because all 3 players on the side of Darkside have full HP. And maybe that's when the AWP of Ghost can re-pick in, but yeah, timing doesn't work in their favor. That's kind of been that's kind of happened throughout the game, right? And Darkside, you can see they don't panic, right? They're all aware of what each individual needs to do, right? The player into a CT just holding construction, the player who's deeper inside holding the site, right? So everything is planned out for the side of Darkside. Communication is, very much on point for them, right? Still, maybe small gaps here and there, especially with how the long position seems to be consistently exploited by Darkside, and you can see the immediate adjustment. A 2-man setup here at Arch to start things off, mainly because would you like to explain that? I mean, no words.
Exactly, just absolutely no words. It's kind of like every time you want to push in, or okay, picture this: you're driving in a car, you have a destination in mind. You want to go somewhere. Wow, that Molly did not connect at all. You want to go somewhere. But as soon as you make it even halfway down the road, there is a big roadblock in the form of whether Anastasis or Camo in position to stop them. I mean, just take a look at this other pixel angle, and he connects the shot. Oh my god, somebody stop this guy. He's just too good with it, and SGD are feeding into him. He goes in for the repeat, he gets smoked off, and immediately knows to reposition himself. They should be able to hear this. They flash it. And he goes in, repositions himself. Siraj now gets one on the board for his team. Not bad, but let's keep this going. 3v4.
Yeah, that's possibly one of the first mistakes DS have made all game, right? And now there's a flank from CT as well. Sandman will need to speed up, and Insane levels the state for fast. Sandman now the pincer walking out, and Insane lining the last 2 players. And SGD sealed back around that really never should have been. 5-on-3 for Darkside, and they let it slip. I think Anastasis, for all the kills that he has been getting, I think might have overplayed his hand just a little bit, right? There was really no need to go back in for the repeat. Maybe you can hold a safer angle to ensure that nobody crosses onto the site, but yeah, don't really agree with that one. I guess in a 5-on-3, maybe that's when your hands get a bit itchy as well, right?
I think that is what it is. You get the first 2, and you've been doing so well. Now I'm feeling myself. I got an eagle. I got long hair. I don't care. There's flames on the floor. I'm going to push through it, but then I'll die. So we're back to a 5v4. Sometimes you get a little bit complacent after you make that many incredible kills happen. and I guess you get punished for it. And this is what we want to see from SGD. This is why we want to see them come back into the game. They make some mistakes here and there, sure, but when they start to feel themselves, when they start to, I guess, be a little bit more, okay, come on, guys. I'm just trying to encourage you, and then you push through the smoke and you die to camo. They get the site, get the bomb down, please. Please make this happen. It's a 2v3. Attic has an M4. Don't give it to them. I want to see an even game.
Oh, just a deagle for us, Sing. Maybe if he deletes the player in pit, then it's doable. Well, that's happened. So now the last two win players are stuck on site. Ghosted with the op. Very difficult to clear. Dicto will certainly be giving this a crack, but nothing home to write about. SGD, 7 on the board, so all things considered, still a pretty decent half, but you have to think, right? 4 of those rounds, at least 3 of them came off the back of a force by victory. And which means that the opponents didn't really have a lot of money to work with. So I think the last round, it was just MP9s and Deagles. So SGD, well, they kept the economy of DS honest. But then again, now that they're going over to the CT side themselves, will they have the same struggles? That is the question. Darkside, they're looking a little bit more human now. SGD have already, battered their round count from Nuke. So that's a positive start.
I want to say that Darkside will do better in CT. I mean, if you take a look at how they play, T side, it's risky. You got smokes, they push through them anyway. We're a little bit weird, right? But when they have the bomb down, when they kind of have the map control, when they have situations under their control, they start to be a little bit more prepared. They kind of have an inkling about where Darkside might be appearing or pushing from, and then that's where they start to find the shots. But as soon as I say that, Caster's Curse, Ghost will peek out from window, immediately gets tagged down to 27. Now they kind of know where he is, but he does have support from his teammate. I believe that's Kids See Ghosts.
Perfect flash from Camo. And Racing, 2 kills, almost a third. Anastasis will be then traded out, and that should be the B bomb site open for taking. But yeah, no need to even get the bomb down. DS just holding for the bits of re-aggression from SGD.
Incredible.
They've got their opponents under lock and key.
Really? Yeah, okay. I mean, Gobbles, have you ever watched Incredibles?
I have, but
the very first movie, not the second one. I don't know if you remember this, but there's a scene where Mr. Incredible, the big guy, and he's talking to his boss, who's like this tiny, weird, square-looking dude, and he has a quote where he says, Bob, a company is like an enormous clock. It only works if all the little cogs mesh together. A clock must be clean, well lubricated, and wound tight. That's the key word. It's cogs meshing together, and they are tight. That's what I see from Darkside. It's tight, they are meshed together, they have the teamwork, they have the coordination. They have the team, they flash for each other, and then they push in, they get the frags and the pistol round, and now I think it's pretty much in the bag for them. They already have control over the B site, and it's going to be Kids See Ghost and Siraj. They have a Mac-10, they have a Scout, but what are you going to do? How are you going to retake with those weapons?
Yeah, bearing in mind as well that the last pistol was the first one that DS have been able to find, right, at the 4th time of asking, and if there was any time where you would want a pistol for SGD, you certainly would have preferred that one, because that would have meant that they were level, and instead, now, it's just Suraj in a very lonely, lonely world. Might get away to Mac 10, but they're certainly going to hunt for him. Camo jumping around the corner. And look, this is what I really like what we're seeing from Camo. Like, it's not just that at the end, but also just throughout the series himself. You never see him doing anything that's necessarily too suspect. Right, he had a clutch to his name, and generally, if you look at the positions that he played, like we talked about Moxie earlier, right, very similar, right, Inferno CT side, they like to play in towards the pit, but at the same time, he knows when to make those adjustments to where he needs to be positioned, right, and those are small things that don't necessarily get highlighted very often, because normally, what happens with such players is that they're kind of at the bottom of the scoreboard, but no, Camo, kind of leading by example, right, not just being able to make the right decisions, but also showing that his aim is very much on point.
You are absolutely 100% correct. I mean, remember that kind of 1v3 MP9 clutch. He's doing the same kinds of maneuvers, even in the back of that, I guess, NT-Eco against SGD. The way he's using the Mac-10, the way he knows how to support his team, the way he knows how to just jump peek certain angles and find the frags with the Mac-10. This guy knows this game, and he's absolutely destroying the SGD players. They get the information as well off of their teammate. It's a given that it's going to be Darkside's round. Kids Egos might have retrieved a Galil, but he needs to make it out of Banana with it. And of course, Camo is there to say, no, that Galil belongs to my team. Take your hands off it.
Yeah, and SGD, well, I mean, you can see why they went for it, because they are able to get a very good buy, all things considered. Right, they went for the eco, kind of an eco twice, which means DS, they've been able to stretch their lead up to 4 rounds, but equally SGD, this is a good chance for them to get one on the board, right? No AWP for Anastasis and a Galil for Racing. Banana take coming on in, smoke will be deployed, Racing though take down a little bit, nade's good, and
Ooh.
nice nade stack coming out from SGD. The opener they needed, but don't stick ahead around for too long, right? You've got a better advantage, you can see they're desperately falling back. Good call from the side of SGD, now it's about closing it out.
It was a little bit scary.
Yeah.
They were still hanging around. I was hoping that they would fall back. Thankfully, they did. And that allows Anastasis to push up, but they have the information now. And they're going to boost themselves up. Oh, this could be good. Okay, a little bit of a smoke, but Darkside aren't exactly committing to this just yet. And I guess that's kind of the difference. I mean, Darkside, they make some, plays like that here and there. They get punished for it, but then they know to pump the brakes. All right, let's take a little bit of a breather, assess our options, and then we make a move. I say that though, Anastasis has pushed up and immediately gets shut down by Insane, but that is information for his team. Now they're going to take these two players head on. One of them is really low, and that's going to be Insane, who falls. Sandman holds the off angle, but he is able to find the trade, and it's going to be Camo last guy alive, 1v3. Can we see a repeat of the previous round clutch magic?
Yeah, if he gets the heads-up duel against Banana, he can make a beeline back towards A, and this is what we talked about. SGD, what was the value in that push from Kid C Ghost? Now he's given Camo a very direct way back into the round. The rotates will be late. Camo will get to select his own post-plan spot. CT still very far away. This would be the final nail in the coffin. At least he gets spotted on the cross, makes it back in towards the site. But Ghost has given up the information. At least he can call that no one's crossed the pit, right? Camo, he has to be somewhere near lane or in the apartments. But time's ticking, and they've got no kid in hand.
Okay. It just needs to bide his time. Camo hiding in this corner. They think that the molly burns him, and they don't know that he's there. Ghost, though, up by Graveyard. No! Nice flick, and he shuts Camo down. That is what you need. That is what we want to see from SGD. And they finally take another round away from Darkside, 11-8. And SGD are starting to come back just by a bit.
Just by the slimmest of margins, it should not have gotten that close. I'm surprised Camo wasn't able to clutch it out, right? He had both players back turned towards him. Maybe could have gotten the oppo and then the second, but well, at least DS still have enough money to buy back in, right? Spade 2K will be the only player who has to go down with a little bit of a sacrifice, but same case for SGD, right? 2 for Mars, and Anastasis fast up Banana, flash from Camo, he's already up, but goes 1 for 1. Insane able to switch up to the AK, and DS, the round kind of comes to a halt. Kitsy goes wants to get aggressive, wins the duel. And this is kind of, I think, what we're going to see from SGD. A lot of individual pushes. Maybe, for them, they can see the reason why, but I would just like to see it be a little bit more tempered, right? I guess, you can say for Addict, he had support in the apartments, but there's another world where, Addict actually finds the kill, right? Jumping up in the balcony, finds the kill onto Kitsy Ghost, and then the man advantage for DS. Now, going back aggressive towards Banana, so this A play will be pretty obvious. I'm surprised SGD haven't budged on the rotate though.
Yeah, I guess it's one of those plays where you wait the timer down to about maybe 20 to 30 seconds, and then your opponents think you maybe rotated over to the other side, and then they go in with a push. But SGD are not biting. 30 seconds, well, 40 seconds left. They throw a nade, and that should be giving it away. We have one player. It's going to be Insane, who is prepping up for this delay. He puts a stop to it, and all that's left is Spade 2K. 1v3, the bomb has been dropped. He can retrieve it, but 20 seconds left, unless he's able to take down the 2 players on the A side. I don't see the bomb getting planted.
Yeah, very tough to break apart Crossfire, and with the player almost peeking pit, I think Spade 2K will think better of it. Money's not too good as well for the T side, so he will just go for the save. So a lot of responsibility for next round will lie in his hands, right? Because he's going to be the only player, I think, who can who can just go all in. Maybe DS want to force back in, which seems to be the idea. Yeah, they have. So if they lose this, then SGD looking very good to perhaps tie up the scoreline, right? You win this, it's 10, and then the preceding anti-eagle, possibly 11. But that, well, it hinges on them actually getting this round away first. Right, Banana has been pretty successful for them, but this time they opt to play a little bit more passive. Nade up in towards the car position, a B rush, and Molly's been extinguished by the smoke. They continue running through. Insane only good for the one. Now only one player isolated on site. That will be Sandman. Needs to stand strong, but can't even get one. And the B rush. Well,
it worked. How did it work? Oh my god. Still, though, it's going to be a 3v4 retake on the works, and it's going to be Kitsigos who first falls. Goes immediately trades with the op, and wow, Addict just ready to refrag for his teammate. Siraj, Famas left, can't quite do much. The op is on the ground, and it probably will be retrieved by DS, and you know what that means. Anastasis is going to be a very, very happy guy.
And again, right, small mistakes, but big in the context of the round, right? You miss the player on site. I think that was Insane. He misses his incendiary at the front of site, and that allows DS to continue their advances, right? Because otherwise you can't run past it, right? Maybe in the first couple of ticks, yes, but the players behind wouldn't be able to run in and trade their teammates, which means SGD could well have held on to the site, right? But what happens is I think the 2 players, they kind of mess up each other's bit of utility, right? The smoke ends up not covering off the top of Nana fully. At the same time, the incendiary doesn't exist, right? So what this happens, it invites the Darkside forward. And
exactly.
Yeah, full punish.
Full punish, and I mean, just credit for Darkside as well. They know to utilize and capitalize on these tiny mistakes. Whether it's pushing through a smoke, they do it as a team. They do it together. They do it well. I mean, there's flashes and everything, and that's kind of something that we didn't exactly see when SGD were on the T side. It's kind of like they see the door right in front of them, but they know that it's open. And then it's kind of like that scene from that meme from the show Dexter, and then you got the guy bursting open from the doors. It's like, surprise, motherfuckers! And then they get shut down.
Wow. I guess that's another one that we can keep for the highlight
the soundboard.
Yeah, the soundboard at the end. Double peek into his middle, and Anastasis will no way he finds both. Finds one. The op going back in for the repeat. Really needs to trade, and he does. So now, what do you do with your DS? They should know that pit's clear, and they're making the way to side. Ghost with a third. Nice flick on the head of Addict. And Kitsy Ghost here to assist his teammate. Spade 2K, yet again, left in a pretty impossible clutch. Maybe it's save time, but 4 players in, maybe they're trying to hound him down as well. Spot him out towards Boiler, but no need to overextend, right? At this rate, preserving your own economy is more important. Insane does not heed the advice, and, well...
I mean, he saw the shadow. Still, it's a 1v3 for Spade, and it's not the easiest, but let's just break down what happened here. How did Darkside lose that many players with their attempt to push in towards the A site?
I mean, they lost the first player very early on in the round. I think Ghost out in middle. I mean, credit where it's due, right? I think it's the first time, or like one of the first few instances we've seen him on the AWP. He takes it to lane, he picks mid at a very delayed timing, right? He doesn't pick it straight away. And so if you're Darkside, I think the first player to fall, who was all the way in Mexico, thought that there wouldn't be an AWPer picking down, right? But what happened is that Ghost actually spotted out the gun barrel, able to find the opener, and then, mid-round SGD, you can see a bit of nice work from them. 2 players going back into its middle, right? Because there was no sound at all from Darkside. The CTs, you get a little bit jittery. At least they went for information as a team, right? Able to get the 1-for-1. And normally if you see a player like Anastasis, I would think that, because he's the player taking banana, right? So if you see him out in middle, that's a pretty obvious sign that A hit's gonna come.
Exactly.
And then, yeah, SGD were just fully prepared.
So if and only they can repeat what just happened in the previous round, right? Get the good reads, whether it's a telltale sign that there isn't a player pushed up banana, whether they know it's going to be an A or a B hit, they need to first get the read and then set up for it. Now with the deep smokes down banana, of course this could deter Darkside's push in towards it. They get control, and of course Ghost is the opper posted up towards the back of banana. He gets control over it. Darkside have no choice but to push into A. The rest of the players, that's Kitsy Ghost as Siraj. They should be ready for this.
Wow, that's ridiculous from Addict, but still a player into its pit. And now just chaos ensues. We stabilize in A4 and 2 in advantage of DS. They only had 2 AKs coming into this round.
Oh my god. Shouldn't have happened. It was only a Tech 9. Kitsy Ghost and Siraj, what happened?
Oh, this is why head out is important, folks. Especially against the pistols.
Oh boy.
Wow, and they're still sticking around. It just... Well, I think SGD... at least you could have had an AK and an M4 to work with this round, but instead, what's gonna happen is they only have USPs and a lonely P250 on Suraj, who hasn't hit the ground running this map at all. Right, DS, just a little bit of a pocket strat out of the apartments just fast, and yeah, granted they had to hit the shots, but wow. Now, all in towards middle for the CTs.
And now it's just an all-out brawl towards mid, but of course, the rifles, the automatic weapons, the op will win. 14-10. Could we see a 15-10? I mean, what do you think of SGD's economy right now? What are their options? If they go all in, they risk it for the match point. If they don't go all in, then it's definitely going to be match point. What do you think, Gobbles?
They decided to all in, so if they are able to win it, then it's good for them, right? So you're risking it for the map victory. A bit of a desperate call, but still, at least the round started out pretty okay, yeah. Straight towards A though.
Straight towards A. SGD. Siraj, can he get the information here? Yep. Yes, he does. And that's the opper gone.
So all of them wrapping the A site, but there's a lot of chaos, flashes, team flashes everywhere. It will be Ghost to hold strong on the A bomb site.
Whoa!
Kitsy Ghost back in, and now it's Anastasis having to walk through the smoke. The player's back turn towards him, but misses timing by an inch. Does not have the bomb.
Alright, SGD, you guys got the bomb. Just watch over it. Watch it like a mama hawk. Don't give it up. Anastasis, he spots one out, and he is looking for blood. Gets the headshot, but gets dinked as well. Now down to 20 points of health. A single bullet, and that's it. He goes in for it, though, and has to try to find something. 30 seconds left, and this is what I want to see from SGD. They know they have the bomb, so they're playing it extremely safe. Molly should have given Anastasis' position away as well, so it's just a matter of time. Of course, he pushes in, and Ghost gets the shot. 14-11, they fully invest into the round. They risk it for the biscuit, and they managed to come away with, I guess, one cookie. 14-11. They stay alive for one more round. A couple more rounds.
Maybe a... what's it called? A part of the cookie? A
crumb.
A crumb? A couple of crumbles. It's not quite the full slice, but now they're going back aggressive down banana. Ooh. So a different look from SGD. I like it. And, wow. It was just a full-on mid-crunch. You can see, right? A two-pronged assault. Down middle as well as down banana. DS completely off guard. Caught completely off guard. And with their pants down, will have to just raise the white flag as SGD forced them to tap out.
Pets down. You're in your whitey tidies. You take them off and use them. Use it as a white flag. Spade though, now last one alive. He is able to trade off for his teammate, but again in a 1v4, he has been in this situation before. He has been able to take down a couple of players along with him. If not, he finds them and then he saves. So maybe it's this sudden change in pace for SGD. Maybe they're feeling a little bit more confident, or it's just that the fact that, hey, you know what? It's possibly going to be match point soon. Let's just put everything into. Let's just show them everything that we've got. We rush down mid, we rush down banana, we find 2, maybe 3, and then it turns into a 4. It definitely feels a lot better. But it's one of these rounds that just they don't happen every day. It's going to be 14-12. Can they make it a 14-13?
Yeah. That is, if they can get across the line. Shouldn't be too difficult for Spade. For Sandman, in fact, SGD are still able to close it out. 1 casualty. It's perfectly alright, right? They've got 3 players alive. Thing is, they won't have the AWP, but they've got 3 AKs to make up for it, so that's more than fine. SGD taking a tactical timer just to run things through. I completely agree with you on that point. That it's not one that you can necessarily repeat all too often, because I think the next time Darkside will definitely be ready for it. But it's always good for the confidence of the players as well, right? Just to show that, hey, we are able to just play aggressive, right? Because so far, all the fast rounds we've seen, or all the successful fast rounds we've seen, have come out from the side of Darkside, right? It's been them kind of setting the pace, right? The B rushes, stopping the fast aggressive maneuvers from SGD. So for the CTs to be able to do one of their own, it certainly will be a feel-good moment, and maybe is this what is going to lift the mood up for the players? It's certainly been a little bit dull, right, considering how map number 1 went. Remember, it was 16-5. So now they've made it pretty close, and rinse repeat, back down middle they go. SGD not stopping, and I don't think Darkside will be ready yet. Back towards banana they go, but the spray is good. And Insane cleans up house as well. SGD putting the B rush into shreds. DS trying to... They tried a good old Carrigan rush B, right, at the end of timeout, right? Trying to catch your opponent's code, but SGD, this time, we're starting to see them, be a bit more proactive. That's always a bonus.
That is the bonus. And of course, along with it, a little bit of a bonus round as well. And if they win this, which they most likely will, because it's pistols for DS, they will be able to equalize the board. And this is their map after all, and it is the last one unless they win it. Come on, guys. Sandman, you have this in the bag. Don't give it away. There we go. The spray rings true. He finds, I think that's 3. And Addict is the last one left alive. Has an AK, though. This is not impossible for the man. Turns around and, surprise, surprise, Rylish is there to shut him down. 14-14. Of course, I think it's this confidence that they have, knowing that Darkside would be on either a Force Fire or a pistol. So that's why they went for it. But now that Darkside has the full buy, now that this happens, they have this confidence surge. Will they be a bit complacent? Will they be a bit overconfident? I think they need to slow it down. They have to be careful now that there are full AKs on DS.
Yeah, at the same time, this pick will relieve a lot of pressure, and what a scalp to find as well. Anastasis, the player who not just takes banana, but has been such a shining star for Darkside. You don't have to overextend. SGD.
Oh no, that's what I was saying. Come on. You get the opening pick, just back off. But Brylage, I guess, maybe a little bit greedy. He wants to find a frag or 2 or some information of sorts, pushes up window, and immediately gets shut down. It's not the most even of trades for SGD. I mean, considering that they had the first pick. Addict is down to 66, still has head armor. It's still possible that Darkside pushes us into 15-14.
Yeah, but can see Ghost a huge gift package being delivered over. And I'm a little bit worried now. right? Because they have to play blind. They have stuck a player down into its middle. That's going to be Suraj. If Spade clears this, which he should, then wow, they've completely missed one another. Suraj will know that it's going to be a B play. So now things have somehow worked out from SGD. Suraj in the back lines. Thank you very much. Able to find one. The overstays is welcome just a little bit. And now DS, do they opt to go back into its B? They should go to its A. It's pretty obvious, but they've got no time. And oh dear, SGD might just have recovered this. Camo needs a big round with Spade, but well, both of them will fall.
Okay, they recover. 15-14 out, and it's SGD at match point. And of course, what do? They call a tactical timeout. Not bad at all. They managed to hold their own on the B side. They get the perfect read. Siraj, I guess, partially the MVP of the round, pushing that deeply, able to retrieve all of that information, and along with it, a couple of kills as well. I mean, what are your thoughts on that round, Gobbles?
Wow. Fine margins yet again. SGD, this time, the bit of aggressive maneuver mid-round ended up working for them. Not from Kitsy Ghost, but from Suraj, right? Down into its middle. A bit of lucky timing, given the fact that Spade 2K completely misses out on the CT that was flanking. But you take some and you lose some. SGD though, first ones to put themselves onto map point, possibly tying things up. Because look at the buy from DS, they did not get a bomb plant even. So they've got very little utility to work with, but Anastasis opens things up. So now you're panicking if you're on the side of SGD. They have banana control, they still kind of have brackets. So they do hear players jumping into departments as well, but this is the all-in from Darkside. Right, prepping the utility. This will have to be quite the all-in. Flash, Kitsy Ghost needs to fall back. A bit of information, but doesn't have too much relevance in terms of how the round will plan out. But he's repositioned up in towards the apartments, right? Possibly swinging into carpet. 3 players on that A side for SGD, so still doable. Very doable.
Doable, but now it's Kitsy Ghost, and he says, I see dead people. Comes in with a swing of his own, and Siraj puts a stop to the push. It's all up to Anastasis with an op.
Wow.
He goes in for the re-peek, and immediately Siraj now finds redemption. 16-14, and they push us into the third map.